If you want to give up on quitting, give up on excuses, give up on I can't, give up on trying, and just go after it. Go hard in life. Go strong. Never give up. Never quit. This time is yours. Own it. Live it. Be and hold on to everything that takes you got.
The only belief that matters is, what do you believe you can do? I personally believe that there is nothing I cannot do. And for me, it's all about impact, purpose, fulfillment.
Yeah, just the Wall Street trapper, man. Grew up in New Orleans, man. Saw my moms get shot, went to prison, all that stuff. My story ain't no different to many other people, but just in prison, I got introduced to stocks. White guy told me this. I had just had a fight with two of my so-called friends, man. And he had a look of frustration on his face, right? And he was just like, man, y'all playing the wrong game. And in my mind, I'm like, how are we playing the wrong game? You in here with me? Like, how we playing the wrong game? Mm-hmm. But he told me some profound stuff, man. He said, I had a red band on. So in New Orleans, a red band means attempt murder, armed robbery, carjacking, violent offense. Mm-hmm. And he had a red and white band on, which means he was going to the feds. And he was like, I can almost promise you, you're in here for something less than $100,000. And I was like, for sure. And he was like, well, I embezzled $2.8 million from my company, paid restitution to $800,000. I still kept $2 million. I'm only doing 18 months. He was like, how much time you have? I was 16 at the time. I had 10 years. Wow. He was like, now you understand. I was like, man, you lying, man. You ain't got that much money. Right? So this before Instagram, social media. One thing about being in prison, you always have your paperwork with you. So he showed me his paperwork. I see it in black and white. He's showing me the places he's been to, and I'm like, yo, I need to play that game. Like, what is that? Like, how do I get there? And he was just like, listen, one of the first things you got to stop doing is like, stop trading your time for money. Start learning to make your money work for you. Mm-hmm. Start being an investor. Start giving value to people. And I was like, the hell? Like, what you, like, I've never been taught nothing like this. Mm-hmm. And then he tells me, wealthy people invest in stocks, they start a business, and then they buy real estate.
And the streets teach you so much about investing in business, right? And we never can connect the two because we aren't exposed to that yet. This is all we know. So we live in this dome, and then what happens is we start to adjust to our surroundings. Just like in investing and entrepreneurship, you have to understand your competitors. In the street, you got to not only understand your competitors, which is the people who are hustling against you, you also got to understand the predators. The streets is all around us. We talking like 1989, 1990, 92, New Orleans, murder capital of the year, back to back to back. Like, that's all it's known for at this time. And my mom says, listen, he has to know this. It's the only way he's going to survive in New Orleans. One of the greatest things that happened to me was my mother telling me, like, the world is raw and you got to get this how you live. But I also saw my grandmother be a legal entrepreneur. So I saw it from both worlds. The greatest thing that ever happened to me was going to prison, because I was able to sit down and mature in that environment. Whereas had I been in the world, I'm not saying I wouldn't still be this, but the path would have been completely different.
Did you do all 10 years?
I did 8 years and 9 months.
God damn.
85% of it. And so had I still been on the street, I would have now been struggling with survival. One of the things that happens often in the culture of Black people is survival mode. You never get a chance to play offense. You're always on defense. One, because of mindset, because you don't see it. Again, the dope dealer and the rapper, everybody who's working is struggling. And so you never want to be that. You never want to be that. You're like, damn, like, why is everybody struggling? I need to do something different.
In the trap, you can either be the plug, you the person that's distributing the product, you the person that's putting the product on the streets, you the person responsible for everybody getting the stuff that they need. Or you can be the consumer. And what the consumer does is the consumer works hard, the consumer does the side hustles, the consumer does everything that's possible for him to be able to buy the product. That's what we're gonna do. Now, we know that this world is built on consumerism. Listen, I'm gonna show y'all how to tap into the matrix, right? So this is what we're gonna do. First, we're gonna break this down for y'all. What is the plug? Right? The plug is a provider of the product to the streets through multiple sources. And we're gonna break that down. I'm gonna show y'all how, this all relates to each other. And that's why I'm a Wall Street trapper, right? Then the product hits the streets. And when a product hits the streets, the plug is responsible for cultivating how the product gets to the streets. And the product is gonna come in the form of sales, freebies, influencers, whoever that plug can get in front of his product to make other people buy the product. Right? Then the people rush for the product and they spread the word through the streets. Why? Because the product is good or bad, but it's good. Right? Then the plug gets the money, takes the profit, pays everybody else off, sees what he makes, and then he does it again. Rinse and repeat. This is how wealth is built in the streets and in corporate America.
Never give up on your purpose. Never give up on your opportunities in life. Never give up on living your life. So I want you to be strong each and every single day. Your biggest problem, you might be thinking, well, I'm not in the first place, I'm in the last place. So sometimes you have to finish and let that be your victory. You can come back later, worry about the place that you've came in. But the story was, sometimes the finish is the victory. You have to understand that. You have to get there. You have to receive that.
What happens is, and just let me say this right quick, the reason why people think wealthy people or people with money are sinister is because that's what you kind of taught in the hood. Like you kind of taught like the people who really have money, like they did some wicked shit to get it. They did some backstab and cut those shit to get it, and you'll never get that, right? And so that same mentality now happens on a lower level, right? The hustling, the dope dealing. So now you think like, yo, I gotta just do sinister to get money. And then the people who are successful in the drug game, they're looking at the people at the top like, damn, I want to be that. But the people at the bottom will never get a taste of that. And so now we just kind of living off ambition. And so now the people who are in the middle who working, they're like, oh, them people with money, they all crooks. Because being at the bottom teaches you to envy people at the top. It just happens. It's something that brews down there, right? It's kind of like when you cook. I don't know if you had gumbo before, right? But it's kind of when you cook food, right? The base goes to the bottom. And so most people live in that bottom, never knowing how they'll get up there.
We got to understand, we got to know that the consumerism keeps us where we are. So the dialogue that has been pushed, right, is to buy this, buy that. Think about it. Every time, if y'all been rocking with me for so long, right, y'all been rocking with me, people been, which y'all see me with every day, right? Wall Street Trapper shirt, Wall Street Trapper hats. That's all I wear, right? And so people be like, you branding. And that's cool. But for me, it was a deeper level. It was, I want to wear mine, right? I want to wear what's mine. I want to wear it. And then, so now what happens is the same way, I'm going to show you my mindset on it, right? My mindset on it was the same way that Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Prada, all them had, right? It was, if you see the logos on this person wearing this all the time, then at some point this is going to represent something to you personally. No matter what I say it represent, it's going to represent something to you, and you're going to identify what this represents to whoever you see with it on. So for me, it was, I wanted to wear my own shit every day, all day, till it became my uniform, and then what I wore now represented me. You know what this represent? This represent trap, and I know what trap represent. So I won't be a part of that.
In this very moment, all you have is all you need. So what would you like to do? What do you believe you've been destined to do? Sometimes you have to fall back into the dark room and focus on you. So you have a date with destiny. You have unfinished business. It's time for you to go back to the drawing board with a new perspective in life, because if you can see it, you can have it.
So while I'm in prison, I pick up a habit of reading. That was the game changer for me. On the streets, I never had the opportunity to just sit down and read because I'm always trying to survive. In prison, there was no longer a survivor mode there. When we look at it from, when we break everything down, we break everything down and we look at it from a skeleton. I have a roof over my head. I have a bed. It's not the most comfortable bed. I have a bed. I get 3 meals a day. Whether I like it or not, I have the essentials. I started hustling in prison. So I was working in the laundry. And so your clothes don't really get clean. So I found a hustle like, yo, I'll wash your clothes when we do it, but it's $5 or $25 a month. So that gave me a whole another set of money. And then I started being like a numbers dude. How Vegas have the numbers, the betting. I became a numbers guy.
Self-taught.
That's it, self-taught. I used to get the USA Today. I used to look at this guy, Danny Sheridan. He used to put out the line. And then I would take his numbers and put those numbers on my ticket. And my ticket was called Braveheart. So now I did college football, NFL football, and laundry. I had a whole thing going. Now check this out. There's 5 units in prison. I had people in each unit selling tickets for me, as in distributors. So the streets was the same in there.
Charlamagne, I want to tell you, man, I appreciate you, brother. You the first black man I ever heard talk about mental health. And just coming from where I'm from in New Orleans, man, you know, I saw my moms get shot when I was 9. I wound up going to prison at 16 for shooting a man. And just being in the hood, coming up in the streets, man, you never know how trauma affects you. We never get taught about mental health and therapy. Like it's not something that we, you know, just get approached to. And as I got, you know, started doing my thing, I was like, damn, like I've been affected by a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Things I did at the street, things I did in prison, things I've seen, and it started affecting me. So I really got a therapist now, man. I want to tell you, man, I appreciate you for that.
Love, King.
For real, I appreciate you for that.
There's a level of meditation, concentration that you can lock into that can take you there. As long as you believe in it. Like you said, the only belief that matters is, what do you believe you can do? I personally believe that there is nothing I cannot do. And for me, it's all about impact, purpose, fulfillment. Like the money is a byproduct of everything else. That isn't my focus. My focus is I have a knowledge and information that I know that can change lives. Not just one life, not just like lives.
There is only 2 types of people in this world. Right? So there is the people in life that get hit by life and get knocked down and decide to accept what life has given them, and they settle for it. And then there is people that get hit by life, they go through pain, they face obstacles, they face adversities, but they refuse to give up because they know that they have more potential. They know that they are capable of achieving so much more than what life is currently allowed them to achieve. Right now,